Imagine losing the password to your entire life savings. Now imagine that life savings is nearly $250 million. This isn't a movie plot. It's the true, tragic story of Gerald Cotten, the young founder of Canada's biggest crypto exchange, who took the only password to $200 million in customer funds to his grave. But what if that wasn't the whole story? What if the password wasn't just lost? What if it never existed? Gerald Cotten was living the high life. Barely 30 years old, he ran QuadrigaCX, a cryptocurrency exchange that hundreds of thousands of people trusted with their money. He was seen as a genius, a visionary in the wild west of digital currency. He had private jets, yachts, and a portfolio of luxury real estate all over the world. From the outside, he was the poster boy for crypto success. Customers loved the platform. It was easy to use, and for a while, everything seemed perfect. They poured their savings into Bitcoin and other digital assets, believing they were investing in the future, secured by Jerry's brilliant platform. They had no idea the entire operation was balanced on a knife's edge, held together by one man and one secret. Then, things started to get weird. In early 2018, customers began reporting major delays when trying to withdraw their money. Weeks turned into months. The excuses from Quadriga started piling up. First, it was a legal battle with a Canadian bank freezing millions of dollars. Then it was system upgrades, then software glitches. The user forums filled with panic and anger. People's life savings were trapped. Was this just a technical problem? Or was something more sinister happening behind the scenes? Jerry, once a public figure, became quiet. His reassurances became vague. The tension was building, and the entire crypto community was watching. The panic wasn't just online. It was real people with real money, unable to pay their bills, their mortgages, their dreams disappearing into a digital black hole. They trusted Jerry, and that trust was beginning to crumble. The bombshell dropped in January 2019. An announcement appeared on Quadriga's website, and it was the last thing anyone expected. Gerald Cotten was dead. According to his wife, Jennifer Robertson, he had passed away a month earlier while traveling in India from complications of Crohn's disease. The crypto world was stunned, but the shock quickly turned to horror when the second part of the announcement hit. Jerry had been the only person with the passwords to the cold wallets, the offline storage where the vast majority of the company's $200 million in cryptocurrency was supposedly kept safe. With his death, the money was gone, locked away forever in a digital vault with no key. The story was almost too wild to be true. A young tech millionaire dies unexpectedly, taking the keys to a fortune with him. It seemed like a freak accident, a tragic lesson in digital security. The media called it the lost password case. But as investigators, journalists, and a community of angry investors started digging, the official story began to unravel. They looked at the blockchain, the public ledger that tracks every single crypto transaction. If the money was in those cold wallets, it should have been traceable. But when they looked, they found nothing. The wallets that Quadriga claimed held hundreds of millions of dollars were empty. In fact, some had been empty for years. There was no $200 million locked away. The money was just gone. So, where did the money go? The truth was far darker than a lost password. Blockchain investigators discovered that Jerry wasn't just managing customer funds. He was allegedly gambling with them. He had created fake accounts on his own exchange, credited them with imaginary funds, and used them to trade against his own customers. When his bets went bad, he would allegedly use real customer money to cover his losses. It wasn't an exchange, it was a shell game. He was taking new customer deposits to pay off old withdrawal requests, a classic Ponzi scheme. The entire empire was built on a lie. He didn't lose the password, he lost the money. And the story gets even stranger. Questions arose about Jerry's death itself. The circumstances were suspicious. He allegedly died in India, a country known for having a lax system for issuing death certificates. He had also reportedly signed a will just days before his trip, leaving all his assets to his wife. This fueled intense speculation. Could he have faked his own death? The idea seemed crazy, but in a world of digital anonymity and untraceable money, it wasn't impossible. People started calling for his body to be exhumed to prove he was actually dead. Was he living on a remote island, enjoying the millions he'd stolen, or was he truly the victim of a tragic illness? The mystery of Gerald Cotten deepened, turning from a financial crime into a potential man-who-was-never-there conspiracy. Years later, the fallout continues. Investigators managed to recover a fraction of the missing funds, mostly from liquidating Jerry's personal assets, the houses, the cars, the plane, but the vast majority of the $200 million remains lost. Over 76,000 people lost their money, some losing their entire life savings. The story of QuadrigaCX became a cautionary tale for the entire crypto industry, a brutal reminder of the risks involved when trust is placed in a single, unregulated individual. It exposed the dangers of exchanges operating without transparency or oversight. The name Gerald Cotten is now synonymous not with innovation, but with one of the biggest exit scams in crypto history. It wasn't a story about a lost password. It was a story about a massive betrayal. The final twist? While authorities have declared him legally dead, the request to exhume his body was denied, leaving a permanent question mark hanging over the entire affair. We may never know for sure if Jerry Cotten is truly gone, or if he pulled off the ultimate disappearing act. The only certainty is that for thousands of people, their money vanished along with him. The password was never the key. It was the cover story for a devastating lie. The real secret wasn't a string of characters locked in a dead man's mind. It was the fact that the treasure chest was empty all along. The QuadrigaCX saga is a deep dive into deception. If you were fascinated by this story of a crypto empire built on lies, you'll be captivated by our video on the collapse of FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, another tale of a crypto king whose kingdom crumbled overnight. Click the video on your screen now to continue down the rabbit hole. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy uncovering the truth behind these massive financial mysteries, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story.